What's up, guys? It is Tuesday already. Can you believe it? Tuesday, February 15th, 2022 AD, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. It's not the Lord of a lot of people, am I right? Oh my gosh. It's 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Gonna have a fun Tuesday show. Hope you enjoy it. You can call in 888-775-3773. I'm gonna cover a little bit more of this weird guy who is in the Department of Energy now, apparently, according to the news and his own t-shirts. Hey, nice t-shirt. Thank you. I'm wearing a Get a Job t-shirt. I'm going to cover a little bit more of him. It's already I feel kind of like I covered him too much already, but I'm going to cover him a little more because you deserve it. What did you do to deserve this? Cover your eyes again, kids. You're going to have to cover your eyes. And go Rams, say the Los Angeles public health lame people. I have an article that I want to cover about narcissism. I may or may not get to it. I also have a passage to share with you. A passage, something that Jesus said in the book of Matthew, quoted in the book of Matthew in the Bible, and some other things. So, anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Did you miss the Hey Guys yesterday? I heard that it didn't go through, and it seemed like it didn't go through. Actually, I had to say it twice, but there was something going on. It was like a glitch, okay? But we got it ironed out. So you heard the Hey Guys. Maybe I said it too high-pitched yesterday. That's what was happening. And anyway. So guys, what was that? Okay, so you know what? Let me get right into this story because cover your eyes, children. Cover your eyes. I have more of this Sam Brinton mess, and then I'll get back to more intro stuff. The Biden DOE non-binary guy, and I use the term guy loosely, Samuel Brinton. He's that guy whom I showed you toward the end of the show yesterday, pushing mess. I showed you a whole bunch of pictures of him wearing like high heels. And his Twitter profile, he says that he is interested in hashtag nuclear waste because the Biden, I guess he's mildly smart. Nuclear waste, protecting LGBTQ youth and the planet, ending conversion therapy. And that's a reference to gay conversion therapy. And he's a they, them. He calls himself a they, them. And I respect people, not pronouns. He wants you to respect pronouns and not people. He's young, and he's in Washington, D.C., one of the most corrupt cities in the United States. He calls himself a nuclear waste nerd. So I think he went to like MIT or something like that, which is a smart school for smart people. And so intellectually, he may be able to process some information about nuclear waste. But it is not good. He tweeted, "Big news to share with you all today." This is a month ago. "I have accepted the offer to serve as the Deputy Assistant." They always want these titles. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition in the Office of Nuclear Energy for the Department of Energy. With all those words, it makes it sound kind of a little bit obscure. For the sleazy Biden administration, See? Sleazy Joe, Catholic Joe Biden, pretends to be Catholic, right? You aware of that? Is that Pennywise? Catholic Joe Biden pretends to be a Christian, and he was promoting the gay stuff more openly than Obama was. Well, I don't know. He's not. Is he really in charge? Is he really making the calls? Calling the shots? I don't know. And I just find it interesting. This guy, I told you yesterday, I showed you some screenshots from this NowThis video, which I'm going to show you, I think, is kind of gross. It's kind of vulgar, kids. It's all nicey-nicey. Reminds me of the meme that I showed you, and you guys said that the meme is real. I think it might be in a little bit of jest, but it's funny about the, well, I don't want to say the word, the P word that, they go after kids. But anyway, he worked previously, or maybe to this day, for the so-called Trevor Project.
To this day.
Certainly to this day, he is a radical homosexual activist, a radical LGBT agenda activist. I saw on his website that he pushes, what does his website say? SamuelBrinton.com. It says stuff to the effect of, oh, by the way, a local Perry, I guess is the local area where he's from, like Maryland or something. Perry Sam Brinton appointed to DOE nuclear waste post per Jim Caulfield on this website. And it shows him wearing blue lipstick. And it shows those gross black lace stuff that he's wearing. What a gross. Terrible. It's pretty disgusting. Blue lipstick. Ugh. And lipstick period on it, dude. He said, I am living proof on his website that what conversion therapy can try to destroy, self-acceptance can save. And he doesn't accept himself because he's trying to change himself, right? Or change how people perceive him. Look at that. Whether they, because he calls himself a they, them, meaning he is walking the halls of Congress to help educate the Hill on the differences in advanced nuclear reactors, or belting out new favorite tunes with the gay men's chorus of Washington, D.C. Apparently he's on the radical homosexual singer group. It's hard to miss Sam Brinton's passion for changing the world. Potentially, there's his stilettos, he's meaning the high heels. Sam is an ardent activist against the dangerous and discredited practices of gay conversion therapy, which is supposedly, I haven't even read anything about it. I mean, I haven't ever, I don't know anybody who practices the gay conversion therapy. I think that it's probably a boogeyman that these people do against Christians. But, a lot of Christians are kind of at a loss how to overcome stuff, right? His work, he says their work, sometimes takes the form of conversations at universities across the country. See, universities prop up this degeneracy. The world full of evil people propping up fellow evil people. Share his experiences and educate on how to pass legislation banning the practice. See, they want to ban Christian counseling. He has spoken before the United Nations. See? United Nations, Google headquarters. See? Google is evil. And Congress. Told you Congress is evil. Featured in interviews with the failing New York Slimes, Time Magazine, MSNBC, Huffington Post, Washington Compost, The Guardian, far left foreign outlet, and many others. Yeah, he graduated from MIT. He's going to the White House in so-called high heels. He does that to challenge preconceptions. Pretty vulgar, huh? Okay, so in short, he is a radical. Maybe he was raised Christian, because why else would he be pushing in against this conversion therapy? I think he's called himself what did he call himself? Living proof. So, and when you hear him talk, he talks like one of those gay phony Christians. You'll hear him talk shortly. But Think about that. And he worked for the Trevor Project, which is a radical homosexual group. And they try to prevent people from committing suicide because of bullying, right? But that's their pretense. They're for propping up radical homosexuality among the children. That's what they're really about. And think about how extreme and radical that is. Well, he's getting promoted to positions in the government. Story kind of reminds me of this other story, a different kind of radical, 2015, September. I have a couple of screenshots outside of the folder here. San Diego Tribune, ex-city worker runs anti-Semitic website. Keyword ex-city worker. He worked down in like San Diego area. Escondido. Escondido means hidden, by the way, right? I think. San Diego Union Tribune. And this is a photograph of a young white man. He said he's a Christian. Overall, like a nice guy, but he has unusual beliefs about unacceptable beliefs. To quote, what's his name from the Canada, unacceptable views. Times of Israel even covered this. It was an international story. Times of Israel, right? Isn't that Israel-based or is it America-based? U.S. municipal worker, means city worker, resigns over anti-Semitic whites website. And they call him a white supremacist. John Friend. And they show pictures of Hitler. John Friend blamed 9/11 attacks on the Israeli government, admired Hitler and Goebbels? I don't know how to pronounce it. So this radical loses his job. His boss loved him. He's like, oh, good guy, professional. But then some media hit piece on him. Oh, I didn't know you had these extremist views. You can either resign or be fired. So meanwhile, this guy's getting a federal job. This other guy that's so-called Christian, non-binary, isn't that interesting? Seems like disparate treatment. And you have people say, hey, this is very different, Hake, because the Nazis killed 10 million people, maybe even more. They were responsible for World War II, they say. Well, think about what America's pushing in this LGBT stuff and the Biden administration. They're for killing babies. 60 million babies? That's a little more than 10 million people. Not good. And they're promoting this degeneracy on children. Jesus said, it's better to have a millstone tied around your neck than to mislead or offend or whatever young children. But that's exactly what they're doing, and they're pretending to be like, oh, we're saving the children from suicide. So I don't know. And John Friend is not for this guy, John Friend, who lost his job several years ago, a city job. Oh, Nazis killed at least 1 billion? Oh, okay. Nazis had drag parties. Okay, well, same thing then. Same thing. He should be promoted to a federal position in the nuclear energy. Anyway, just a side note. Anyway, and up in Canada, too. You know, they're failing these radical homosexual agenda and radical illegal alien agenda and radical anti-man agenda, anti-white stuff. ACLU in America, it's called the ACLU, American So-Called Civil Liberties Union. Well, up in Canada, they have the Canadian, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and then I will get to your calls, Canadian Civil Liberties Association. And Ezra Levant runs this, it's a middle of the road, kind of like playing it safe, somewhat conservative website at times. Ezra Levant of Rebel News, right, I think. He tweeted out, not a peep in 5 days from Canada's version of the ACLU about, and I think he's talking about the trucker convoy. More protesters. Huh. Meanwhile, they let Black Lives Matter do all that mess. The trucker protesters, the Freedom Convoy, and the anti-vax mandate protesters, they try to call them anti-vax. They're anti-mandate. What a mess, huh? And the crackdown on their financial services. You've heard about that, right? I think I've mentioned it. It is crazy. It was covered in the Jesse Lee Peterson show early in the first hour. I covered it in Hake News at the end of the first hour. How the Canadian government, days I heard on the JLP show, days after the Biden administration told them to crack down on the freedom protesters. So evil. So sick. So anyway, so let me just play this little video for you. Since I told you I was going to play it, and then I'll go get to the calls. Ooh, and I have another story before I completely finish it. But here, let me show you this Samuel Brinton guy who's getting promoted, and he's just honestly the tip of the iceberg because they're all a bunch of dumb liberals, and he's just showing his mess. But Biden looks mildly normal on the outside if you didn't know better. But on the inside, he's dark and full of death. Like a whitewashed tomb, right? So here's this Samuel Brinton guy from maybe a couple of years ago, I think 2019, from NowThis, far left, enemies of Christians and whites, enemies of America outlet. Here's their propaganda video, 3.5 minutes long, guys. Bear with me through it. Why respecting pronouns is so important. Listen to this.
I use they and them as my pronouns. And when someone uses they and them as my pronouns, I feel like that person is listening to me. That person cares about me, and that person wants to have a conversation with me.
I feel. This non-binary activist explains why pronouns are important. And it's all stretched out. This is another... Ooh.
Pronouns are a
Trevor Project
fascinating part of modern culture. I don't think many people think about them very often until someone like myself or others say their pronouns. So when I introduce myself, I generally say, hi, my name's Sam Brinton. I use they and them as my pronouns, and I serve as head of advocacy and government affairs for the Trevor Project. I give this before I even do my job because it's the important way that you're going to describe me. Not what I do, but who I am. And that's
not who you are.
Respect for my gender is really, really important.
How so? He says people often assume people's gender from the moment they meet.
I think our culture has built itself around an idea that the faster I can learn something about you, the faster I can interact with you. We are a system of speed. And pronouns sometimes slow that down, right? Like, the assumption makes things easier.
That's terrible.
We are, every single time we meet someone, immediately putting some type of judgment on them really quickly so we know how to interact with them. But that judgment could be wrong. And so I think the hard part is to change perspective. Now, this isn't asking you to run a marathon. This is you saying that you want to be respected in a specific way, and I can do that for you by using a pronoun.
So effeminate. Brinton suggests people introduce themselves.
Things that companies
with their pronouns.
and schools can do are, on the first day of classes, and for maybe the first week, having a sticker where you tell people, hi, my name is Sam, my pronouns are they and them. It's also really important to recognize that pronouns change sometimes. Many of us will not always have the same pronouns because our gender is changing or our gender realization has changed. I think that's really, really important for us to say that the flexibility of your personality should be something that we can respect, and the flexibility of your gender identity is something that we can respect.
They're just deep in that hole, huh? Merriam-Webster added
Pronouns
they as non-binary
are
pronouns.
confusing. I'm not going to say that
Webster's
they're
fake
not.
news.
But if I can have the President of the United States use my gender-neutral pronouns, and I can respectfully use theirs,
The music.
then I think we're going to be in a world where everyone can be respected and everyone has the responsibility to be respectful.
Except to the white supremacists. Am I right? So inspiring. Peace. Love is love. Rainbows. Attract the children. I told you, it mentioned in that video that Merriam-Webster changed the definition or added the definition of they to include it's a non-binary thing. Meaning they always meant multiple different people. Third person, plural. Not good. Not good. I'm going to cover after a call or two how the Trevor Project supports delusion, not awakening. Trevor Noah Project. But it's sick. And this is what Catholic Joe Biden is promoting. So sick. Let me get to Joe in Portland, Oregon. Joe, how are you doing?
Very well, Hake. How you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you.
I just wanted to comment on the Sam Brinton.
Sam
clown.
Brinton. This is the guy who Nick says he talks about going through conversion therapy himself. Yeah, I mentioned that in brief. I gathered that from his website. Traumatized weirdo. Yeah, this guy who's promoting this
mess. He should be
mess.
in a mental hospital.
You think so? You think that would help?
He needs to be locked up. Yeah,
Whoa.
It would help society. For sure. He's clearly, just look at him. Anyone looking at him would know that he is clearly mentally ill, severely mentally ill.
People promote this stuff now. People,
Yeah, and back in
they
the
push
day,
to be accepting of it.
Yeah, exactly, which is wrong. Back in the day, people like that would be on the fringes of society where they belong. They would be, they wouldn't be allowed to promote their agenda and their sickness and their mental health issues. But now they're putting it on a pedestal and celebrating people that are seriously mentally ill. It's disgusting.
Yeah. And you're not even religious.
No.
How do you base
Not at all.
How do you base your beliefs on this then?
Just common sense.
Yeah,
look
that's
at the
how I
guy.
get.
He's a
That's how I
freak.
base it too.
Yeah.
It's not
the
even
guy's a freak. Men should not be wearing dresses when he walks there. And he's also there's pictures of him partaking in all kinds of weird, perverted, kinky sex things.
Right.
That's a sign of mental illness right there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Back in the day, we used to bully guys like that, and then they would learn to keep it under wraps. Now it's celebrated.
And overcome it sometimes, oftentimes.
Yeah.
But no, this guy is, I think he's pretty young. I think he barely graduated maybe college in 2011, which is not that young.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in his early 30s, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Pretty young, but still. He should know better by now.
Yeah. But no, living in D.C., Washington, D.C., did you know that cafe, that pizza cafe, Comet Pizza, which was named in the Pizzagate mess? Remember that viral Pizzagate mess? That was owned by a radical homosexual guy named James Elefantes, or Elefante, or something like Delefante. And he was boyfriends, meaning partners, radical homosexual, with the guy from, Media Matters, I think. This guy who used to be a conservative, but then he turned a radical homosexual and pro-Clinton, anti-conservative people. Sick.
Yeah.
And so D.C. is full of, my point is D.C. is full of that freakishness. Not good.
Oh, yeah.
They promote that
Not
stuff.
good. And these people like this Sam Brinton clown, they're surrounded by people who are celebrating their weirdness, and it gives them the idea that, I should be more, out about this, and I should I should promote it more because everyone around me is telling me how great it is.
And you know what?
Someone needs to tell him he's a freak and that he needs to quiet down about it.
He may have heard that before, but yeah, these guys, they also act all weak and nice and like disarming nice to people.
Yeah.
And you know how like that is, they fool people into like supporting them in their wrong when that is not,
women,
that's not love.
Especially liberal women.
Yep.
Liberal women love guys like that.
Yeah.
And it makes these freaks feel like they're, doing something good.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It makes me sick. I just, I get so angry about stuff like that.
Why do you get so angry about it? Out of curiosity.
Just because I think it's degenerate, and I think it's bringing our society down. It's making our society more degenerate, and it's a bad influence on children. I mean, children are seeing this, and they're getting the wrong idea. They're getting the idea, like young boys are seeing this, and they're thinking, oh, maybe that's an okay way to be. When instead, we should be teaching young boys to be real men.
Right. I know. This guy, you can tell that he's a male. You can tell if he were to like snap out of it somehow, he would be like a normal, even with this baldness, because he's bald. he would still be
bald, but
right. I mean, yeah, because people get all insecure about it, but he would look like a normal, like a man with some sense almost.
Yeah.
A little more exercise.
Normal.
Yep.
And dressed normal and spoke normal, which he could do if he wanted to. And, and then he would be fine.
And I bet you part of how they get you is like they do have this fake version of Christianity. Kind of like my friend, I guess you might call him Dylan Burns. The guy who hosted me on the Hippy Dippy podcast. Dylan Burns raised a Christian, or he's definitely like calls himself a Christian, but he supports everything evil. Abortion, he's just very pro-abortion and very pro this LGBT agenda stuff. And on one hand, it keeps him treating people nicely, but on the other, it's a deceiving, false version of Christianity. And it's a false version of
I agree.
Being civil and being
I agree.
civilized. So that's not good.
Yeah, and I'm not religious, as you know.
Right.
But, around here in liberal land, Portland, I see all these churches with the gay flag out in front. And I'm thinking, well, they're not following the rules of their own religion.
Yeah.
They're promoting that degeneracy.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna be Christian, then be Christian. There's rules.
Yeah.
There's a rule. Don't come up with your own liberal version of it.
Yeah.
So, I also wanted to comment on or a follow-up comment on what I was talking about yesterday with the Super Bowl halftime, Dr. Dre.
Oh yeah.
And Snoop Dogg and the others, and their and the NFL's hypocrisy.
Sure.
Because of all those rappers having long criminal histories, and another caller, I think his name was Mike, had said that I would like to check Joe's past and see how clean his record is.
Oh yeah.
Well, guess what, Mike? My record is clean. I've never been arrested for anything. I've never had any kind of traffic violation. I've never even been late with a library book. I've got a perfectly clean record, and it's because I'm white.
I believe that, man. This is Joe from Portland, Oregon. Mike from Michigan called in yesterday because you were condemning the NFL for promoting these. Some of them are felons or suspected of felonies, at least. These felon rappers on their Super Bowl halftime show, and I totally believe that, man. Because you're not one to hide, you don't strike me as one to hide your failings, if you will. You you would say something if you would tell us if you had something in your past, such as like some, not even as if you even needed to, right? You don't have to divulge that, but these people are publicly, shamelessly talking about, didn't Snoop Dogg rap about 187, how he got away with murder or got away with being suspected of murder? I guess he didn't.
Yeah, that I don't know because I don't follow them.
But they're shameless. The point is, these guys are.
They're shameless.
Yeah.
They've never, as far as I know, they've never apologized for all the horrible things they've done. They've never condemned all the horrible things they've done.
Yeah.
So, So when Mike says that that was a long time ago, well, I understand people make mistakes.
Yeah.
But if they can look back and say, well, I'm sorry. I made these were things I did that were wrong. I'm ashamed of them. I should have never done them. But as far as I know, these rappers have never done that. But yeah, I've got a clean record.
Nice. Well, right on, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and I'm not
it.
saying that all white people have a clean record.
No, just 62% of them, because I think it's 38.
Exactly.
Only 38% have ever been like arrested.
Yep.
Something like that.
So the odds are, if you're white, you're more likely to have a clean record.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. You take it easy.
All right. Take care. Some super chats, guys, before I get to this other story about the Trevor Project and more of your calls. Hang tight, guys. Mike in Las Vegas coming to you next. Brandon M with a super chat over there on Odyssey, odyssee.com/@the Hake Report. Unsubbed for calling bald men subnormal. I didn't call you subnormal. I called you subhuman. No, I'm kidding. But thank you, Brandon M. I apologize. There was another guy who said, forget you, Hake, I'm balding, says outcasted influencer HU. I know, no. I'm just saying that I was just trying to imply that this Sam Brinton guy, had he God in him rather than Satan, he would be a handsome young man, even with being bald at a relatively young age. Real Vincent James was, I think that he shaves his head anyway. Maybe he would have a full head of hair if he didn't shave his head. But, solid guy. So, anyway. Asmodor with another super chat over there on Odyssey, odyssee.com. James, don't read Nazis killed 1 billion people and Nazis had drag parties all straight-faced like that. LOL. Oh, yeah. I know. I was reading the chat and I was credulously, gullibly reading the chat. People say all kinds of things about people from the past, and we have no idea. Or maybe we know that that's not true. I don't know. Terrible. I remember Shubat. Remember Shubat.com with Waleed Shubat and his son Ted, or Theodore Shubat? They covered the radical Muslim stuff. And to this day, I think they're putting out stuff. And he said, one of them said that there were certain aspects of the Nazis, and I don't know if it's true. Maybe I shouldn't even repeat it. But they were more like the masculine, so-called masculine side of the radical homosexuals, and they didn't like the more feminine radical homosexuals. I don't really know. I don't really care, because it's so far removed from, how many generations removed is it from the present day? Lorena H with the super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Lorena says, hi, Hake. Do you think it's worth fighting school boards about the mask or just homeschool? I'm looking towards homeschooling. Groups fighting tend to be all women. I've noticed that too. I've seen some bribe their kids not to comply. Whoa, not right. I don't see this being the way. We need men. I totally agree with that. And we need men who are men, not men who are all fat and messy and simping for their daughters who are already having sex out of wedlock and then had sex with a guy against her will, according to her. But she'd already had sex with him so-called consensually. I'm talking about that school rape case. Did you know that according to the Daily Mail, with that school rape over the case in Loudoun County, Virginia, I mean, these parents and these parents kind of get what they deserve for sending their children so foolishly to the schools in the first place. But, you know, some people just slow to wake up and slow to open their eyes to the attack upon whites and Christians and men and boys and girls, normal ones, on them. So they're slow to realize it. And I do totally see that women are pushing it. And to bribe your children, ooh, don't wear your mask. I'll buy you donuts or something. No, that's not the way. We do need men standing up. Kind of like the trucker men, the trucker convoy men. It's a point that JLP made. When men stand up, the world shakes, trembles, changes, and overreacts. Very true. They overreacted to Trump. They're overreacting to these guys up in Ottawa and around the world. That's cool. About the mask mandate, I think it's worth fighting if you have the time, but I think it is worth homeschooling, very likely, regardless, and then fight for the freedoms of the other children who are stuck in the schools, whose parents may not know better or have the wherewithal to keep their kids home. That's my best answer. Hopefully that's clear enough. I totally agree. I don't like women leading the way with the pro-life stuff. The pro-life rallies are like women-led, and they're women who make bad decisions. It's so ridiculous. They'll prop up a woman who has a child out of wedlock and promote for her to be graduating and walk in the ceremony at a school that says, no, if you have sex out of wedlock, you can't walk in the ceremony, because that sets a bad example. They'll promote a woman who's to walk in the ceremony all pregnant or with her baby, when everybody knows that she had sex out of wedlock, sex before even finishing high school, unmarried, and they'll just have this low standard. Oh, at least she's not getting an abortion. Such low standards. No. Very low standards. So, yeah, very cool. Thank you for the super chats, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get to Mike in Vegas, let me get to this. Mother of a trans child. This is from the post-millennial. Mother of a quote-unquote transgender child. This was out February 1st of this year, just a couple weeks ago. Poses as a teen. The mother poses as a teenager, speaking of women being activists, right? To find out how the Trevor Project grooms kids into transitioning. Grooms is a loaded word because grooms makes it sound like they're grooming the kid to be like for having sex. But into transitioning, that's still evil. What emerged in the online chat with the Trevor Project was advocacy for transitioning. No information about detransitioning, which is, I thought they cared about minorities. A minority of the transgenders want to detransition afterwards, which is horrifying, right? Because then a lot of times the damage is done. An apparent certainty on the benefits of gender transition. So there's like a screenshot of the chat. Not cis-het. Cis-het, understand? Not cis-het. And this is an article written by Libby Emmons at Brooklyn, New York. Cis-het is cisgender, meaning normal, not transgender. See, they come up with a fake word to make you seem like you're abnormal for being normal. And heterosexual is another word for just normal, meaning you're not homosexual, right? What a mess. Which is, homosexual is also not what you are. You're just into the wrong stuff. How is their belief, they don't believe in gender identity anymore, made you feel? I don't know what to believe. I trust my parents, but it's not what I've learned. Thanks for everything so far, Trent. Seems like things have been difficult lately, and I haven't. So they're talking to kids, these evil people. I've talked about how like the mothers are kind of what is that? When they're like manipulating the kids and pretending to be their friends? That's what these people are doing. So sick. A mother who's dealing with her own child's gender dysphoria posed as a 15-year-old gender dysphoric biological female to access services online with the Trevor Project on Sunday, which was a few weeks ago. She found that every step of the way, she was guided further and further into affirmation of being so-called trans, with no stopgaps along the way where a child could be told maybe the boy or girl was not transgender and should take a moment to think about it. The mother, referred to here as Gloria, though that's not her real name, presented herself as confused about many things, not sure about being not cishet. Cisgender, heterosexual, the thing I just explained. What a mess, huh? Normal. Interested in knowing more about detransitioning. The representative from the Trevor Project advocated for transitioning, no information about detransitioning. And they also talked, I think, about how to get hormones and stuff without the parental knowledge or consent. Stealing the children away from the parents. So sick, huh? So sick. Filled out a questionnaire asking if she'd attempted suicide before. So sick. And they're introducing them all these concepts. Asexual, bisexual, gay, lesbian, pansexual, queer. I didn't know half of these words when I was 15. So gross. Not good. They're messing with minors. Disgusting. So anyway, that is the Trevor Project. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Right? Let me get to Mike in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mike, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake, how's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Hey, man, I just I got a story. I'm sure you found it because you're the news guy, but Fox News just broke that they're having protests at all the Canadian consulates across America right now.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
You know that pastor they keep arresting in Canada that threw those cops out of his church?
Yeah, the foreign guy from like Ukraine or somewhere.
Poland.
Poland.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
They just arrested him again last Monday. He's been held in solitary confinement for over a week now because he was down at the trucker blockade, giving a speech. And they had decided to abandon the border because the police was cracking down on him. And he gave like a 20-minute speech, and they decided to stay. Told him to hold the line without violence. So they locked him up for it. He's being held in solitary again.
Wow.
And also, you know how they're talking about that convoy they're going to do to D.C. from L.A. or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, you know I fix semi-trucks for a living, so I'm going to put it out there because I know Daniel, the car wash boy, one of his buddies plans on doing it. Anybody passing through Vegas, they can get in contact with me, and I'll check out their truck. I'll make sure it's ready for the trip, free of charge.
Oh, wow.
So if anybody wants to do it, they can get in touch with Bond. Everybody there has my number.
Okay.
I'll give them an annual DOT inspection sticker, everything. Make sure they're good for their trip.
All right.
You got to do something to fight back.
That's cool, man. Appreciate that, Mike.
But I know that they're having a protest at the consulate here in Vegas, and it sounds like they're going on all over the country to protest his arrest again.
Nice. Yeah, they should, because this is...
to get that out there.
Yeah, it's evil what the Canadian so-called government is trying to do. Trudeau, that woman...
martial law.
Yeah, trying to push martial law against these people who are doing... They're disrupting, and they didn't care about disruption from Black Lives Matter. It's crazy.
No. Yeah, and they're burning down cities, looting.
They didn't care about
people.
They didn't care about the hurting the economy by way of the communist shutdowns and overreaction to the virus, which is what these people are protesting. That hurt the economy.
Probably jealous that he didn't get to shut them down.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trudeau,
they don't care about
he's
businesses hurting. Please.
Trudeau is a true dope. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Nice.
But anyways, I'm going to get off here. I got to get back to work. But
Sounds
yeah,
good.
that information's out there. Anybody passing through Vegas, I'll check out their truck, whatever they need. Free of
Okay.
charge.
Right on, Mike. Thank
right.
you, man. Take
That's
care.
it. Bye.
Bye. God bless the Canadian truckers and the American truckers. A lot of trucker listeners to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and I'm on his network, the Hake Report. Very cool. I hate boomers, says SBS Tutorial. Don't hate boomers. You cannot. Or you can, but you won't do well. One more call real quick, guys. Rick in Maine. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Doing fine.
All right. Yeah, and don't hate the boomers. They could tell you what the real facts are, not the ones that are made up.
Right.
You know, it just,
On some things.
it appalls me. Everybody says, I hate the elders. I hate the boomers. I hate this. Who in the world taught you what you know? Is it right? Is it wrong? How about using a little common sense from now on?
Yeah.
Christmas. I tried to get in Jesse's show there about the subject he had going. It was about these kids that are throwing away our history. James, you and I both have a level head. You can take all the books, all the statues, and everything that has to do with our history, and do whatever you wish to do with it. But I have one question. Will it change history? No, it won't.
It won't
you're
change
just-
what
you're-
actually happened, but it'll
That's
just make it
right.
harder to know.
That's it, right there. And these younger generations do not want to learn what the facts are. They want to go with their candy-striped little lollipop and have a good time. You know, I'm old school, and I'll tell you, if you keep on doing that, eventually that's going to swing around and bite you on the backside.
Yeah.
Because you're going to wonder, hey, how come this happened? How come that happened? What happened here? If you had studied your history a bit, you would have learned the warning signs about history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Like they say, the lesson will be taught again and again and again until the lesson is learned. We're learning things the hard way right now. It's a shame. It really is a shame because people are being so arrogant and so ignorant. They don't want to know the truth. Well, you know something? I'm an older. I'm going to be gone someday. And when it comes your time to fill my boots, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer because you didn't take the time to learn what's really going on and who's pulling all the shenanigans. Thanks for the time, James. I appreciate you. And hello, Dasmador and William.
All right.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you, Rick. You too.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye. Yeah, the boomers. People blame the boomers for where we are today, but who made the boomers how they are? Got to have some understanding. I wanted to cover this story. Speaking of the masks, you know, Lorena H. asked me about fighting the masks in schools. Some of these people are pushing masks to this day. I saw this. Cernovich tweeted it out. He's this center-left guy on Twitter. I like to see what he's talking about. He tweeted out this video from LA Daily News. LA so-called public health director Barbara Ferrer. Barbara Ferrer, I've covered her before. She's this skinny, scarecrow-looking woman with wild hair, like Albert Einstein looking wild hair and like white gray. And then she's hanging out all skinny and decrepit and weird with her mask outdoors alongside her black friend who is also in this L.A. County public health mess. And she has like a social justice degree. She's not like a normal doctor. She's more like a PhD, if I remember correctly. I haven't looked back to her background again. And then this other guy is a SJW too. So these people are not sensible people trying to control L.A. County. Here, Cernovich says, watch how they fidget with masks. LOL, they ain't wearing them, meaning they're not normally wearing these things. And this is something Trump has pointed out about kids and normal people. When they have the mask on, if they talk, the mask falls down below their nose. They have to adjust it, touching it. You're not supposed to touch it so much. Don't touch your face. People are touching the mask, touching their face, doing all kinds of mess. And so watch this if you're able to watch. And maybe I'll describe what's happening because they're just talking mess about being at the Super Bowl. This happened, I guess, on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, right? Just a couple days ago. Watch this mess from LA Public Health. And they're the only ones wearing it. Everybody in the background, no masks. Listen, watch this.
John W. Davis here with LA County Public Health Director.
John Davis.
Hey, we're at the Rams game in the Super Bowl. What do you think about all this?
I'm super excited. The Rams look awesome. The stadium is beautiful. And I'm really, really glad we can all be together today to watch this amazing game.
Yeah, like, this has been such a beautiful week here, weather-wise, and the stadium
Look at them.
just looks so great. And I mean,
She doesn't look exactly healthy.
The Rams are here. Like,
The Rams
Looks like a
are
skeleton.
here in Inglewood. The stadium's probably the best stadium in the whole country. And it's wonderful to be with people again, you know, to celebrate. This is an amazing achievement for the Rams and for LA County. So I'm glad we're open. I'm glad people are trying to be sensible, protect themselves. But I really am most excited about this game that we're about to watch.
what else can we ask for?
Nothing. Go Rams.
Thank you so much.
So lame. None of them. Maybe I'm confused on which black it is. Did he say? I thought he said something like John Davis or something. But she picked, or they picked like an African-sounding guy, like Mundu or something like that. I thought. I could be mistaken. But whatever. Point is, they're the only ones wearing it, and nobody else is wearing the masks in the background. And there's like fat guys in the background. No masks. Because they know they're outdoors. In Inglewood, California. Quick super chat, guys. A little correction of the record from one of our resident historians. Asmodor states on Odyssey, upon taking power, Hitler's SS killed Ernst Röhm, head of the SA Brown Shirts, and several other SA leaders for being homosexuals, among other things. This is well known as the Night of the Long Knives. So they didn't like to put up with that mess. What is it with these homosexuals trying to get into like powerful positions? And anyway, like all these, going back to this phoniness about the masks and stuff. Remember Trump? He didn't even eat a meal. When he saw one of his servants, you know, at the White House, they have these servants. I don't know if they're called servants, but like staff members at the White House. He touched his mask when he was delivering Trump's food, his meal, to his office. And Trump, being more serious as a germaphobe or whatever he is, more than these lame people, he's always been this way, from what I understand. He'll give you a dirty look if you cough or sneeze in his presence. He'll ask you to leave your room, the room, according to what I heard from what I read in Bill O'Reilly's book, I think, The United States of Trump. He's all, I didn't eat it. I saw him fiddle with his mask. I saw him adjust his mask. I didn't eat the meal. See, Trump skipping meals in the name of health because he saw a worker touch the mask, which is close to his face, and that could be germs. See? And that was another drawback to the masks in the first place. Trump talked about how, you fiddle with them, you're messing with it, eventually gets unhealthy. All kinds of stuff. Watchman for You says the brown shirts were commie infiltrators and perverted people. Night of the Long Knives was meant to deal with that, I guess. What a mess. History is so not taught, apparently, right? Very interesting. Any popular movement, there's going to be snakes. Actually, even unpopular movements, there's going to be snakes. Snakes everywhere. Liars, they're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers, right? It reminds me of a passage that I want to talk about in the coming hour from the Bible. So I will, but we're getting close to the top of the hour here. And I may cover this narcissism story. But Trump missed a meal, but he's still bulking. I may get to this narcissism article, not a story. It may as well be a tall tale, though. The feminists say that, men are more likely to have this issue than women. Yeah, right. Feminist outlet. Psh, that's all it is me. But anyway, we are at the top of the hour, guys, pretty much. I want to share not a song with you, not music with you, a piece with you. An item, a audio recording from, this is from Hollydrift again. Hollydrift, I've been playing them. 2004 album on Parasomnic Records, Waiting for the Tiller, From an Old Horizon by Hollydrift. Enjoy, guys. Cover your ears, you musical Philistines. Press mute. Grin and bear it. I will return in a couple of minutes and talk you through it. Here it is, From an Old Horizon, Hollydrift. Enjoy, or not. It's not that bad. And it's 9 minutes long. See you soon. Isn't this nice, guys? Isn't this nice? Made in Canada. This is dope, says CJ O'Connell. See? One fan. When does the music start in these songs? Asks Taking Care of Business Bear. When the next CD goes in, says Shaggy Boy. Sounds like the CD's scratched or my computer's faulty. Needs more cowbell, Hake. People who listen to this casually are the same people who put they, them, there in their Twitter bios. Hake, hit up Nordic Frost for some good tunes. Not the stairs again. Yeah, we're looking at the playground and tricycle. I love Hollydrift, says Baron Von Balls. Just press mute, for real. You want to hear some Bible passages as we go on? It's not disrespectful to read the Bible during this, right? Correction from your girlfriend. The caller who cursed Jesse out about famous tennis player LeBron James was actually named Tony. So that was not, according to her, Mike from Michigan. Hake ate all the psilocybin? What is that? How is this music? I don't know if you would call it music. Is the music gonna start? Sounds like a truck backing up. Okay, so Hake's trans drooling right now. This is just noise, not music. Yeah, I think that's accurate. But I really like Hollydrift. Make it stop! This is the cheapest album ever. All the guy did was record noise of the city, taken out on his stoop. No, I think it's kind of creative. Matthias Anderson, Hollydrift. It's kind of pleasant, a little bit, right? Anyway, soundtrack for a horror film. Let me read. I don't want to take a call during this. So let me read the Bible to you. Hollydrift unlocks another part of my mind. No, don't get into that mess. So guys, only about 5 minutes left to go, or 3. I was reminded yesterday of a passage in the Bible. And this is not devilish. This is made by a person who believes in God, I think. Or maybe it is devilish. A lot of people say they believe in God. But I was reminded of a passage in the Bible said by Jesus, speaking of Christians who are misguided, right? Many will come in my name. It's in the book of Matthew. I looked it up. Oh, dang. Hake, read the Bible to this. And it's interesting because many Christians, most Christians, pretend to be Christians, maybe including this guy, I don't know. But I like Hollydrift. But they don't really want to deal with real things. And there's this discord and division and evil of the people of the world, even among the Christians. As the song goes, like I mentioned, they smile in your face. All the while, they want to take your place, the backstabbers. Wasn't that nice? Thank you, Hollydrift. And I was reading the King James Version because I grew up reading the NIV. Blame my mother. But at least I was reading a version of the Bible, even if it was the liberal version. But in the New King James Version, which I liked, it called it this word lawlessness. But in the King James Version, it called this word that I came across iniquity. And I'd seen that word before. I generally know that it means something bad. Basically, it means evil, right? But I looked it up. It means gross injustice. Iniquity. Define. Immoral or grossly unfair behavior. And isn't that what we have today? Immoral and grossly unfair behavior. I pointed it out with them promoting this LGBT guy and then ousting the Nazi. What's the difference between an LGBT and a Nazi? So-called Nazi, which he's not even, but he's a Christian who thinks that Hitler was a good Christian man, this Robert Friend guy, and he was ousted from his post, and then this LGBT radical is promoted. That's grossly unfair, right? Grossly immoral and unfair. Gross injustice. It hits harder, right? It hits harder than just lawlessness. And by the way, I did look it up in the dictionary. The dictionary is fake news. We all know this, but it's an old word, so it's probably accurate. So anyway, let me read this. It's from Jesus talking to the disciples about, deception and evil in the end, at the end, so-called end times, or signs that the end is near or whatever. He was talking to the disciples, and they asked, what's the sign of the coming at the ending of the world? He said, take heed that no man deceives you. Many will come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. There's so many people saying, oh, I'm Christian. So-called preachers. It seems like the establishment church is deceiving the people. Oh, you continue to sin, even though the Bible just directly says you don't, right? And you shall hear, listen to this, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Ukraine, anybody? They've been saying, and this has been going on for decades, right? Of course, hundreds of years maybe. Wars of rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. I'm reading it kind of in my own English. I'm translating it because it says ye and stuff like that, which might be confusing. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So all these people, Jeremiah calling in, getting excited, not to mention his name, but I just did by accident. It slipped out. But all these people getting excited, ooh, Ukraine, the end is coming, you shall bow. No, the end is not yet. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places, famines, climate change, not man-made, or who knows, right? Who cares? All these are the beginning of sorrows. This is Jesus talking. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Christians very much hated. Way back then, they're killed. And even to this day, even in America now more than ever, right?
To this day!
They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, be hated of all nations for my name's sake, and then shall many be offended, right? And shall betray one another and hate one another. A lot of betrayal and hate going on. the New Testament's constantly talking about backbiting and gossip and accusations and church division, right? Division, being divided in the church. And you can be divided from the world because the world is evil, but the world has crept into the church. Many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, Jesus goes on. And because iniquity shall abound, that's that word, the gross unfairness and immoral behavior. Iniquity shall abound. The love of many shall wax cold. See a whole lot of people cold-hearted in reaction to this stuff. But he that shall endure unto the end, he shall be saved. Nice. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. When ye therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, and I'm not sure what that's referring to, if that's happened already or not, I don't know. So I just leave it as a blank. Let those in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who's on the housetop not come down for anything in the house, meaning you're going to have to hurry. And who knows if this happened already? I don't know what this part means. Neither let him who's in the field return back to take his clothes. Woe to those who are with child, meaning pregnant, and to them who are nursing mothers. But pray that your flight be not in the winter, nor in the Sabbath day, because you got to hurry and get on out of there, is what he's implying. For then there shall be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. I mean, we're headed for trouble. You can see it coming anyway. Because these people just outright hate Christians and men and whites and children. Shaking my head. And except for those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, meaning the Christians, the real Christians, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man says to you, look, here's Christ, or there, do not believe it. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. If it were possible, shall deceive even the elect. But that's not possible, he's saying. He said, if they say to you, here he is in the desert, don't go. Here he is in the secret chambers, don't believe it. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines to the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered, or the vultures, right? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Then shall appear the sign, the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, one end of the earth to the heaven to the other. Interesting. The main thing is that don't be deceived by the phonies, or into this cold-hearted response to the evil in the world. People turning evil. So sick. Anyway, let me get to William in California. William,
Yeah, man,
thank you for holding. What's up?
How's it going, man?
Going well.
It might do a little good to know something about what's going over there in Russia before you speak on it, whoever that was. But I can tell you this, ain't nothing like pandering black people. It's just so shameful. Yesterday you got told off about the Super Bowl halftime, huh?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the caller who thought that...
Hake.
He thought
the first Super Bowl was in
hold
LA.
on. I wanted to just recap that, because he said that white artist performers made the Super Bowl ratings go down, when everybody knows that it was the support of the BLM stuff that was alienating people. And that's what made the ratings go down, all that politics mess.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And most of the performers, the first 10 years of the Super Bowl, the first one was in L.A. They had Abraham Lincoln Stepping Team in Grambling University. And the next 5 or 6 was all black college marching bands. So what is this dude talking about?
Huh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rolling Stones didn't come in until the 49ers went in 80. Then the Red Hot Chili Peppers came. Michael Jackson made an appearance. He don't need. What are you talking about? Most of the entertainers are black. Black marching band, everything. Look at them. Look at the history of the performers of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Stop pandering. Jesus Christ.
Whoa. You're not supposed to say that.
Jesus Christ, it's old.
Aren't you not supposed to say Jesus Christ?
Sorry.
Sorry, kids.
Listen, Snoop Dogg just purchased Death Row Records. That's the record company he came out on, and he can't play the music. Well, he's going to get all these movie deals and everything, and commercial deals, and cleaned up versions of the songs that they did back then at Death Row. He just purchased it, I think, last week.
Yeah.
That was pretty big. Pretty big.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't shoot anybody. That was his bodyguard. And all those guys like Snoop and Dr. Dre, they probably had some affiliation, but they were low level. They weren't like heavy players in the gang thing, you know.
Okay.
I just kind of just wanted to, let you know, they weren't all that. I mean, they had sense enough to get out of that. You know? But that's good. He purchased Death Row Records. That's pretty big. They got quite a catalog. And for my friend yesterday, most of the entertainment for the Super Bowl since the 1960s, it's been always black.
Yeah.
Louis Armstrong, come on. Marching bands from Grambling and Southern and Mississippi State, come on, man. What are you talking about?
All right.
You know they let us dance.
Who's they? The whites? The whites let the blacks dance?
Yeah, they like to see us dance,
Right.
So stop all the pandering and all the victimhood, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
You're just saying this because they're black and it was a spectacular show. No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
You liked it, you liked it. It was cheesy.
It's kind of awkward.
Look, isn't the Super Bowl halftime show usually cheesy?
Yeah.
You got 10 minutes to set up a stage. It ain't going to sound all that good. It's always cheesy.
Well, is it true that they were lip syncing, or is that false, or do you know?
Some of it, probably.
Yeah. Because I noticed when Eminem started his thing, the white rapper, so-called white rapper, he had his high-pitched young man's voice back from when he was talking about the Forgot About Dre part.
Which is 10 years ago.
No, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a different person.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them are corporate now, and they make a lot of money. I give them that, I mean, they're not out in the streets making trouble like they used to, but they were low level, most of them. 50 Cent was, too. He wasn't all that. But, they got good music. They roll with Dr. Dre. He's a producer. He creates the music. If you take the words out, Hake, I guarantee you would like it. It's pretty creative, A little bit better than what you just played.
Whoa. Shots fired.
I'm just joking with you, man. It's your show, bro.
No worries.
Hey, try it sometime, Just take the bad language out. They got different versions of all these songs.
No, I've heard most of their stuff. I like it. I'm just saying that
it is pretty good, and it's him. It's Dr. Dre. And that other guy in L.A., DJ Quick. They're pretty smart cats, man. They're really geeks,
It's funny.
But this little pandering about the halftime show, look here, most of the years, if you go back to the 60s of the Super Bowl, it's always something black at halftime. Go take a look. You'll see it.
Yeah.
So, whoever that was crying about the halftime show yesterday, no, that's not true. Nobody's saying that because it's a black performance, because all the performances every year is black.
Yeah, they had Maroon 5. He said, Maroon 5 sank the ratings. And he didn't even know who Maroon 5 is. He's just talking. He's making up stuff.
Know that was. He's just pandering.
Yep.
That's all it is, man. Everybody get it together because whatever's going over there in Europe, the same leader that's in the White House right now ain't going to be there. So here's the deal. Trump was in office. The Russians wouldn't even have went over there.
Interesting. Yeah,
They wouldn't even have went over there. Come on.
We were definitely more respected because he was a man of authority, natural authority.
That's why people need to stop speaking on it because they don't even know nothing about it. You don't know the resources over there. You don't know the strategic layout. Don't even know about that stuff. Why are you speaking on it?
Yeah.
Go back to your Bibles.
Well, thank you, William. I appreciate it.
All right, man. And ask Rick and Maine and all those guys. They know about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Shit, we don't need nobody that don't know what they're talking about with those subjects.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in their lane.
The attack on the boomers.
And the white people and all that, man. Stop it.
Yeah.
It looks weak.
All right. Thanks, William.
Take care. Have a good day, Hake.
You as well. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye. List of Super Bowl halftime shows. Oh, and up at the top, they have Katy Perry. Black on the Inside. I don't know. Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. Most viewed Super Bowl halftime show on YouTube. Yeah, and they've been pushing degeneracy in the halftime shows for a long time, too. I remember, what was it, Justin Timberlake and who was it? Was it Michael Jackson's sister or something like that? Not good. Radical LGBT mess with the Maroon 5, I want to say, and that Hawaiian young man. And Black Lives Matter with the Beyonce stuff. They've been pushing sickness for months, years, decades. Hang tight, callers. I will get to you. I will. I got to read this super chat. It's interesting. From Jared over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Speaking of Trump, James, 3 reasons Trump was a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse, meaning he wrote in seeming harmless or seeming, oh, this is great. And then on the inside of the horse, this Trojan horse, this big statue of a horse, on the interior were a bunch of soldiers who went out and killed everybody once they entered into the walls of the... This is like an old story, right? Trojan horse. Hang tight, callers. We will get to you. Number 1, Trump was a Trojan horse because he decriminalized LGBT internationally. I think there is some truth to that. Hang tight, callers. Nick, get the phones. There is truth to that. He hired that guy, Grinnell or something, Rick Grinnell, who was this radical homosexual, but he's a so-called conservative. Hang tight, callers. We will. Nick, get the phones. Rick Grinnell, he was like a UN or something. I forget what he was, but he wanted to make it so that in like the Muslim countries and others, they didn't kill the gays for being gay, for doing the immoral so-called sexual acts, right? And he wanted to make that so that didn't happen. It was a fake human rights issue. And you could say, oh, that's fine not to want to kill the gays, right? Not to kill them. That's too far. Well, one thing Trump didn't do is during the Trump administration, in his defense, he did not fly the radical homosexual rainbow flag or the BLM flag, or he did not support the flying of that mess on the embassies, the consulates, internationally. Some of them did it anyway, I think, as I recall, but he was not for that stuff. He was not pushing it so much. Bingo, Trump is pro-sodomy, says Watchman for you. Oh, okay. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, he's always been, but that's something that he's been consistent about. We've always known that he was friendly to the gays. He's been a New York liberal. It's not like he pretended not to be. Right? Remember that? He didn't ever pretend to be something that he was not. He's been quite consistent. What you see is what you get. Okay, so that was one. He decriminalized LGBT internationally. 2, he signed the Emergency Authorization Act or something like that. Gave power to FEMA. I had heard something about that. I've never looked into that. That would not be good. You do not want to give power to FEMA. You don't like this. We're not for this martial law stuff. They said that Obama did the same thing. They said that W. Bush did the same thing. The Patriot Act, they call it, right? I don't know. I can't argue with that because I don't know, man. He may well have been used for evil, for sure. And you're saying that he was a outright Trojan horse. Signed a secret agreement with Big Pharma. I don't know about that one. He says it's yet to be revealed what the document portrays. And he says another elitist roll-up. Another elitist roll-up. I don't know what roll-up means, but calling Trump an elitist. But was he not, all that included, the greatest president that we've had in our lifetimes, or at least in decades? Yes, he is. Trump 2024. Trump 2020. We still rolling with him. Even all those things notwithstanding, right? Because he brought a culture change of speaking the truth and standing on it, which that was, to me, huge. Set a great example. Look at how the evil overreacted to him. That evil overreacting to him awakened a lot of people, brought them back to Christianity. Trump brought back manhood in Christianity. Even though he did some things that were wrong as well. We knew going into it he would do stuff that we would disagree with. So I didn't have any illusions about Trump going into it. That I know of, right? Not that I know that much. Another super chat from, thank you though, appreciate that, Jared. Another super chat from Social Pariah. What's the deal with the Google commercial? Google Pixel, the Google phone, taking photos in bad lighting is racist? It's hilarious, but not racist. The dude next to Brett Favre? No, Brett Favre, right? Brett Favre. I know. It's spelled Favre. Favre? But it's pronounced Brett Favre. He was invisible in the shadow, the dude next to him. And I didn't know that there was a Brett Favre in that commercial. I only saw blacks, a whole bunch of blacks. He's referring to there was a Super Bowl commercial by Google Pixel, and it was quite noticeable that every person pictured was some sort of black or POC. I think they had one guy one group who were like, who were those people with the twirly mustaches next to the Indians? I'm blanking on their names. I had a teacher who was that. I thought he was black, but he was actually like India type of thing. Anyway, the phony Google commercial is a mess. Google Pixel kissing up to the blacks. I mean, it's nice that you can improve the quality of the photos that you take. That's cool. I appreciate that. But, I don't know. It's silly. Let me get to Eric in Selma, Alabama. Speaking of the Super Bowl. Eric, how's it going?
Yes, sir. All is well. Hake, how are you, brother?
Doing well. Eric CK, right? With a CK at the end.
Yes, sir. You know it. King dropping the YouTube chat. It is he.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I had wanted to comment on the Super Bowl. There's been a lot of talk about it. I ain't really like, Eminem taking the knee, pandering like William said, all that. Don't pander to me. Don't take no knee for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm a man just like you a man. I can do the same thing white people can do, if not even better. But nobody's better than nobody. We all got to die and stand in front of God, and he going to judge us for the bad things we done. We all have to do that. So all this fake pandering, political rhetoric. But shout out to 50 Cent. His performances were actually good. He's a pretty stand-up guy. He's not with all the political rhetoric stuff. He don't be commenting on his fake social injustice stuff and all that. So he's actually a stand-up guy. Shout out to 50.
Right on.
And shout out. And Janet Jackson actually had the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time. Her and Jennifer Lopez had a great Super Bowl performance, you know, because she's very beautiful. And shout out to the beautiful Hispanic women out there with the mucho pastel. You know, they got the mucho pastel. Shout out to them. Shout out to my friends in the chat, C-Sal and Michelle 67 and Luca and everybody. And I've been calling in to Nick at night as well. His show is good, man. I love Nick's show. Shout out to Nick playing the guitar. Super talented, man. Shout out to Nick at night, man.
I really like Nick's show. You know, Nick, the Anchor Baby's new show, Friday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. And he's been going 3 hours. He covers interesting stories. Toward the end of his show last time, he was covering the stories of these guys with this like knife, and they just hack different things. And it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've seen that too. It is interesting. I like the bags throwing too. That's cool. But you know, I just want. Oh yeah, last but not least, I called in a JLP show today, and I ain't have enough time. You know, yesterday was Valentine's Day. I didn't have time to call in the show. I want to give my favorite caller, Rosa from the Netherlands, a very happy Valentine's Day. I love you, Rosa.
Nice.
From the Netherlands. So
right on.
That's all I wanted to say, man. Have a great day, man.
You as well, Eric. I appreciate you. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Yeah, that's right. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, ladies. You know, some treat it as friendship. Like St. Valentine. There were various St. Valentines, I gather. And actually, those guys, according to the stories, in like 300 AD or something like that, or give or take, some of them were like beheaded, or one of them was, according to the story, beheaded for spreading the Christianity, the gospel, to the pagans. There was some Roman emperor or something like that who did not appreciate him spreading the Christianity. But one guy was supposed to crack down on him, and he said, "Oh, I won't crack down on you if you can heal my daughter of being blind." So he healed, according to the story, the daughter from being blind. And then he and his whole family were baptized. And then they were all killed. But then St. Valentine, or Valentino, was beheaded. And so all these different churches, you know, the Catholics. I love the Catholics, but sometimes the Catholics get the wrong idea. Or in the medieval times, they seemed to have what strikes me as the wrong idea of not caring about the truth of the history. I mean, how are they supposed to know the truth of the history? But they were caring about the relics. So they would get like a piece, supposedly, of Valentine's skull, or one group had like the whole skull, they thought, or some pious widow took his body and buried it in a special place for the martyrs, Christian martyrs, Christians who were killed for being Christian. And so they cared about the pieces of this just a Christian's body. I don't think that you're supposed to get into it like that. But somehow or another, it got perverted into what it is today with the fake love and a little bit of friendship stuff. People say, oh, he would transport little Valentine's messages between jailed Christians who were also lovers or something like that. Gross. I got a Trump Valentine card, though. I forgot that it was for friendship, too, supposedly, right? I got a Trump Valentine Day card from someone who said, and it said, "I want you on my side of the wall." Wasn't that cool? So I passed that on to the Anchor Baby's new show. I want you on my side of the wall. Or should we kick him out because he's an Anchor Baby? No exceptions, or do we allow exceptions? He gets to stay in the ethno-state. Some people want an ethno-state, right? Quite understandable. That's what a nation used to be. A nation. Nationalism. Race. And they reword it to be racism. Give me a break. Another super chat. Jared, over there on Streamlabs. Much respect, Hake, for addressing my comment. I'll leave you with this. Trump was brought up in Jesuit schooling. No hate here, just pointing out some things that conservatives and Christians keep avoiding. Keep up the good fight, my friend. And that may be fair. I've noticed and realized that a lot of the common complaints and criticisms against George W. Bush, against maybe Ronald Reagan, and against Trump are legitimate. But also the positive points, I think, are legitimate as well. So you got to not be attached either way. Not be attached to just dismissing him, nor be attached to, oh, no, he's the God Emperor. Be open to the truth. Nothing holy about worshiping females, says Ledge Klinger. And no, I wasn't thinking about the Pakistanis. There's somebody else over there. Is it Bangladeshi or Bangladesh? Something. I can't remember. And they have these twirly, curly, they have the mustache and it curls up, and then their beards or goatees curl a little bit, and it's just kind of interesting. I'm talking about, I don't even know why I'm talking about those people. Oh yeah, they were in the Google Pixel commercial. He's also an honorary 33-degree Mason. I mean, I don't want to spread, I don't know. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. We are at just past 35 minutes after, guys. Curled mustache is greater than the soul patch, says taking care of business. Ooh, shots fired. Let me get to Justin in Fullerton, California. Wants to talk about Eminem taking the knee. Justin, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, good to hear from you.
This is James Hake.
Nice.
All righty, goody. All right, well, I just, wanted to call and mention something that I guess is already in the consciousness of everybody. But for me, I was surprised to see Eminem take a knee.
You were surprised?
Kaepernick, but yeah, I was like, well, this is interesting. Some people do it for Kaepernick, but I just think he did it because I don't want to project. But what do you think? Do you think because he was surrounded by minorities is why he took a knee, or what?
No, I think that he really has swallowed the establishment narrative about Trump is evil. For example, remember that cipher that he did against Trump? Cipher being like a rap.
That cipher he did against Trump was one of the most stupidest, cringiest thing I've seen from any rapper, let alone the king of rap, Eminem, who I used to think was amazing, like with Godzilla, for example, him confessing his abuse with alcohol and pills, all these things, but him being a shill for, the establishment, it's pretty wild. We all know that the performers don't even get paid. They just do it. And so, like...
Oh, really?
What are these? Yeah, from my research, you can research it too. But yeah, I found that the performers do not get paid.
Somebody called and said that Mary J. Blige did it for free. I think Eric from Michigan said that.
All of them did.
But I don't know if all of them did. They might have. Because they get the publicity and stuff. So, but anyway...
but then he spends $50 million. Dre spends $50 million on his own box seat for him and his buddies. So they're definitely contributing to the whole LA scene. But what I was saying is I think that Eminem should have, definitely not sold out and took a knee. He should have stood up and he should have been proud and maybe did a salute to the soldiers, since, there's people right now out there risking their lives for this government, this country that they're supporting.
Yeah. No, the taking the knee thing, after he did that silly cipher thing, I wasn't surprised at anything that he did, because he just showed that he was not truly anti-establishment ever. The media pretended to be against him, but they never did anything to him.
But don't forget White America. That song that Eminem did, not to cut you off, but that song, White America, just go listen to that sometime. That'll tell you where his thoughts were back in way back in 2013 or I don't know.
Okay. Huh. All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Have
what a shame.
One. I'll talk at you later, okay?
Sounds good, Justin. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Good to hear from you.
All right. What did I see? I thought I saw something. Maybe it was my imagination. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Let me read to you, before I get back to calls, guys, I will get to you. This little Narcissism article, I saw it in Pocket. I've got to get past. I got to get past this. It's been on my list for a couple days now. Pocket shares dumb liberal articles. They conglomerate they gather a bunch of liberal outlets and put out propaganda. Anna Breck on stylist.co.uk, which is a feminist outlet, put out this article, 3 months ago. But Pocket was promoting it on Firefox. Firefox is a web browser. I've talked about this many times. And stylist.co.uk, far left foreign outlet, promotes feminism, fashion, beauty, lifestyle, trends, and news. And so they're complaining about narcissism when that's all they're about. Narcissism is when you're into yourself, right? And don't care about others, which is the culture that is promoted by the feminism and all that stuff. And they complain about something called micromanipulation, the covert tactic that narcissists use in arguments to reassert control. How to recognize its damaging effects. Eliciting sympathy and demanding attention, pretty common tactics in your average relationship, but they become especially problematic when a narcissist is involved, which is practically everybody. But some people say, oh no, narcissism is an extreme version of it, of everybody. Micromanipulation is one of an armory of emotional tools narcissists typically use to regain control of their partners. What are they, gay? During arguments or a trial separation. According to an eye-opening new article on the topic, writing in Psychology Today, the establishment world, female professor Christy Lee Hokenberger explains that narcissists cannot accept the fact that another person does not want to be with them. Reminds me of the radical homosexuals or whatever, forcing everybody to go along with them. Cannot accept. Or the people calling whites racist, saying, you have to accept the POCs. They cannot accept that the whites don't want to be around the POCs, even though the whites are the most, to a fault, accepting of the POCs, even more than the POCs. So if they sense the partner is pulling away, they will go to extreme lengths to wrestle them back. Threatening self-harm, Hockenberger describes as a common and very scary response to someone wanting to regain control in a relationship that's heading south. You heard that from one call on the JLP show. Some guy said his wife or somebody said, oh, she wants to commit suicide. She'll kill herself if I leave. If that fails to have an impact, narcissists, says Hockenberger, may turn to micromanipulation, subtle and hard to spot, geared towards sympathy and empathy from their partner, playing the victim. They might say, oh, I'm having a tough time on a Facebook post, and you see it, according to this woman, and you say, oh, you weren't supposed to see that. Or they send you a message by WhatsApp by mistake, meant for somebody else. This is a woman who's like a Psychology Today doctor woman. But it's funny because they say at the extreme end of the scale, narcissist personality disorder is rare, more prevalent in men. Very interesting. Men better at acting like a woman than the woman. You'll notice that those like the non-binary that I showed you, that guy Sam Brinton, totally acting like girly. Terrible, huh? Scientists believe it likely to surface in the form of someone who engages in risky behavior, holds an unrealistic, superior view of themselves, overconfident, shows little empathy for others, and has little shame or guilt. What a setup, huh? What a setup description. Because empathy is a liberal word, and guilt and shame is a female trait. You know what I mean? A female fallen state trait. Whereas you're supposed to get past that and deal with it. But then they start calling that mentally ill or narcissistic personality disorder. They try to call Trump that when he's the most sane one and they're the ones who are insane. A setup against men. Told you can't get the truth from these people. 2018 report from the University of Louisiana found all kinds of narcissists, along with manipulators and psychopaths. The dark triad of personality traits are capable of being caring towards others as long as they see a benefit in themselves doing so. That's how everybody is. Selfish. At root. They're just able to hide it better. Sick, huh? I'm chuckling because Jim Justice is quoting, why are we taking people from S-hole countries? S-H-hole countries. That was an attack on Trump by the failing New York Slimes, I believe. They quoted anonymous sources, as I recall, so Trump may or may not have even said it. But if he did, right on to him, right? I'll take that Trojan horse over Sleepy Joe any day of the week. Wouldn't you, Jared? Talking to Jared, who addresses, Trump's serious drawbacks, right? Purported ones. Yeah. I read to you guys in Hake News about this phony black comedian guy who does this Jordan Peele. Key and Peele. He was in Key and Peele, which was a sometimes funny little comedy bit between these two blacks. I think Jordan Peele is the shorter, fatter guy, black guy. And then Key is the skinnier, maybe taller, lighter skinned black guy. And they're sometimes kind of funny. And then Jordan Peele struck out on his own and did horror movies. And he did this thing, Get Out. Anti-white movie, right? Smearing the white family, is kidnapping the black and torturing him and using him. And black after black, they were doing it, supposedly. And he talked about the sunken place. Oh, we're all in the sunken place because we can't do anything. We will always be silenced. Meanwhile, he's like putting out movies that are all praised and lauded, and Black Lives Matter is promoted, which is total degeneracy, totally counterproductive. But he's fallen all for that stuff, saying, oh, we have a president who's calling our most beautiful immigrants' homelands S-holes, S-H-holes. He actually said the word. And calling our athletes sons of B-words for speaking their mind on the field. Because that phony guy. Anyway, you guys know about the kneeling. The kneeling to Black Lives Matter by Colin Kaepernick falsely accusing the cops of murder when the blacks are the ones committing the murders, not the cops. Reform the blacks, not the cops. But these people are snakes. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're destroying the blacks, pretending to be the blacks' saviors. Destroying the whites, pretending that that's going to be good for the blacks. Destroying the cops, so pretending that's going to be good for the blacks. So stupid. Lord Red Skull. Get Out was so trash. I was at the doctor's office. They were playing the film. Most people there didn't like it. I can't believe they're playing it there. Yeah. But that's that. That's that for that. So much for the mental health world. They're real reliable, right? Lame. Rick in Hampton, Virginia. Rick, how are you doing?
James, I'm doing okay, my brother.
Nice. What's up?
Man, what do you think about all those people in L.A. trying to push the mandatory mask mandate, and all them people from Hollywood,
doing everything what they want to do. What you think about that?
I think it's kind of nice to see because you saw all these people performing in their performances. Not one of them was wearing a mask, and they were in close quarters. And then all the people, the fat football fans who actually went to the game like suckers, they were wearing no mask, and that was nice. That was nice to see. So I kind of like it because everybody knows it's a joke. It's not
It is. That's when
serious.
that's when you ain't been hearing that much about Fauci anymore.
Yeah. Phony Fauci.
I'll call him Leprechaun Fauci.
Leprechaun Fauci.
Oh, you know what, too? I know what I was about to ask you, too. What do you think about, you remember that, the black sprinter that was in the Summer Olympics, Sha'Carri, was it Richardson?
Oh, the young lady?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They didn't let her run because she she got caught smoking weed. So she couldn't run the Olympics. Now, a Russian skater tests positive for steroids, and now she's crying the blues.
I heard that they're letting her her skate anyway.
Yeah. Now, she's trying to fuss that. Well, how come y'all letting us skate? Y'all didn't let me compete.
Yeah.
Now, I had my friends at work ask me about that. So I said I don't have enough details to give you an answer.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I keep on seeing it mentioned in like CNN and the Skim and elsewhere, and I don't even read it because I'm just not interested in the Olympics. I'm not interested in reading about a 15-year-old who tested positive for something that helps her heart. Who cares?
That's what I was figuring. Now, like I was telling the liberals here, I said, if she can prove that it could be medical use, that they allowed her to skate and get it proved that it was a medical use, that's possibly a good answer. Let her run still. Ain't like she's just abusing it.
Yeah.
And plus, it's a legal drug. If a doctor, because doctors do use steroids for medical use.
Oh, true. Yep.
So it could be. I don't know if that was the reason why they allowed her to continue to skate. But I don't know. I probably thought she had some information on it.
Yeah. Interesting, Rick. Yeah, I don't have any info.
I don't either. So I told them I'd get back with them because, they want your answer under the gun. So I said, y'all ain't trying to be old.
But you can't really compare. It's two completely different situations, or pretty different situations. People are trying to say, that's racism because they nabbed Sha'Carri on it.
That's exactly what they're saying.
That's silly.
Exactly what they're saying.
That's I mean, I guess it's not surprising, honestly.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I said, well, one thing, she smoked an illegal drug,
right?
And 0 tolerance for drugs. So this one here is tested positive for steroids, but you got to find out the details. You just can't just take that and run to the bank with it. So I told him, I don't know. I need to find out more about that story. Just like you just said too, James, it could have been for medical purposes. Did she have heart trouble or something?
Yeah, who knows?
So who knows? So I told him I can't answer that till I get all the facts.
Yeah.
Because liberals want you to answer stuff that, even if you ain't got the facts. Because they mostly driven anyway.
Right. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. It's good to hear from you.
Thank you, Nick, man. Love you. Love you, James, man. Y'all be blessed, man. Y'all have a good weekend. How was y'all weekend?
Thank you. It was great. Take care.
Talk to you all later.
All right. Troy in California also on the Super Bowl. Troy, how's it going?
It's going good, Hake. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thank you.
All right. I won't take a lot of your time. I think it's funny. So many people have this. I feel like a lot of people are taking this bait. I see all these tweets, small accounts saying that Eminem knelt for the Colin Kaepernick thing, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in Eminem's head.
Right.
None of us are. But I will say this: it was a whole Southern California, West Coast hip hop kind of crew. They had Mary J. Blige. Snoop Dogg was wearing the blue bandana, jumpsuit, all that stuff. They're the lowriders. They had that whole element going on. And I can see tons of videos of Eminem kneeling and photos of him kneeling on Twitter. And I can see videos right when he knelt at the end of his song. And I can see Dr. Dre walking over to the piano for what I think he knelt for, to go play, He went and played "I Ain't Mad at You," the piano line for Tupac's like one of his most famous songs.
Oh.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was just kneeling for Tupac. It was a really like heartfelt moment. Dre played the piano. He played a little piano riff, and then it was over. But all the photos I see are Eminem kneeling, zoomed in, right? Or videos of him taking a knee, and it's like, and then they cut the video before he plays the piano. You can see Dr. Dre walking up to it, was like, I don't know. And then the NFL never said, oh, he couldn't take a knee, which was part of the report. He did it even though the NFL said he couldn't do it. It just seems like another liberal grift, and I get why people take the bait. They're good at that, but I don't know. It didn't seem like that was what it was.
Interesting take. I just believed what I just believed what the Rolling Stone and AP have said.
Why wouldn't you?
Because they're saying, oh, it's a clear nod to Colin Kaepernick, but it may not be.
Of course, Colin Kaepernick's the only reason you would ever take a knee. You know what I mean?
I know, huh?
When I went to my cousin's
so he used to do that even in videos.
They all took a knee.
You're saying that he used to do that. You're saying that Eminem used to do that in videos even long before Kaepernick?
No, I think what it is Tupac's dead. He's one of the OGs, if not the greatest West Coast rapper in the history, right? Dre and all those guys, Snoop Dogg, they all were major.
They liked him, yeah.
They were like brothers with him, and he died young. So they go to play "I Ain't Mad at You," which was a very big and very like heartfelt Tupac song, and so he takes a knee. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Why even put that in there though?
Right.
No one. The professional piano player could have kept playing the piano, but they switched and let Dr. Dre play his like iconic little riff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really of the mind to make any. I don't know. My mind isn't in a place where Colin Kaepernick is still important in any way. I could really care less. So
I know.
But I don't know.
They want him to be important. That's why they want it. That's true. They want him to be important, so they want people talking about Colin Kaepernick. I wouldn't be honestly. I wouldn't be surprised either way because this guy he turned into such a liberal. This Eminem guy.
I know, and he's surrounded by he's looking for. Eminem used to be great when he wasn't looking for any kind of when he didn't care what anyone else thought. He was great. And
right,
I remember as a kid, I really enjoyed some of his stuff, and I thought he was a really strong, like that other caller said, "White America" is a really wild song if you go and listen to it. And I don't know, these performers are in a tough spot. That's all I know. They gotta really walk a line. I don't envy them at all.
Yeah,
but that's all I had to say, man.
Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you. Good to hear from you.
All right, man. You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Interesting. Let me double check the super chats. Jared over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report states, Trump accomplished things a Democrat could never have. Things that nationalists have protected until now. For example, Trump censored speech against Jews in schools. Against Israel, right? Speaking against Israel. Those who call themselves Jews but do lie, says Jared. Did he do that? I remember hearing something like that. I remember DeSantis signed something to that effect. And so did that governor from Texas, the Rhino. Yeah, I think Trump wanted, as I recall, to defund federally funded universities, which I don't like them being federally funded anyway, so I'd be fine with that. Fine with that, right? But that speak against Israel, the BDS movement. Boycott, divestment, and sanctions. That is true. He was, and that's, if you're for free speech, I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with the boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Some of those are like the BLM types, the pro-Palestinian people. A lot of those people are very iffy people. Not decent people, but there's also like some like normal Christian, like a lot of Catholics don't like the support for Israel. A lot of Christians don't. And so, interesting, Jared. Well, thank you, guys. Dean in North Carolina says, good Bible passage today. And Rich in Victorville wanted to talk about Tupac. And the rest of the callers, I cannot get to you. We are overtime. Call me tomorrow or we'll talk later. This has been the Hake Report. Thank you, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. And I should be having some upcoming interviews coming out. I will be announcing those. But anyway, thank you and take care.